Welcome to the Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. We're here every Sunday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Love for you to join us live. We've got guys and gals in the chat room. Have you got a college loan? There are people in this country paying college loans for the rest of their lives, or at least for the majority of those lives. Last Thursday, the House of Representatives voted, largely along party lines, to make it harder for students to receive forgiveness of those loans. Currently, the Obama version stipulates that a statement of likelihood or tendency to mislead under the circumstances from a college could qualify someone for loan relief. The new rule says that schools have to knowingly make false statements with reckless disregard for the truth if you want to get out from under that loan. Proponents of the DeVos rule, Secretary of State Betsy DeVos, say that it sets a better standard for evidence, serving as a bulwark against fraudulent claims while saving taxpayers billions of dollars in the process. The bill is not likely to fare well in the Republican-controlled Senate. Also, the White House has vowed Monday to veto the resolution should it ever make it to the president's desk, saying it would undermine the administration's efforts to protect students and taxpayers. What are we talking about here? Well, the Democrat majority in the House voted 231 to 180, mostly along party lines, to approve overturning a Department of Education rule on federal student loans. Overturning this bill, this law that is designed to protect and to save taxpayers billions of dollars. And the president, the White House, is against it. The rule in question, announced by Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos last year, sets more stringent standards for how student loans are forgiven under federal law in cases where people have been defrauded by colleges. A post at Forbes explains that the new regulation is a more reasonable standard of proof for fraud claims against colleges than the one put in place by the Obama administration. While the Obama version said that a statement with a likelihood or tendency to mislead under the circumstances from a college could qualify someone for loan relief, the new rule says the schools have to knowingly make false statements with reckless disregard for the truth. Proponents insist that the regulation would require colleges and universities to be more open and clear on the details, treating students and taxpayers more fairly. I got no problem with that. How about you? What is being called a regulatory reset is believed to correct the 2016 rules that hold colleges and universities accountable. As a result of the changes, the Department of Education estimates the taxpayers will save $11 billion over the next 10 years. The rule also sets a 3-year limit on bringing fraud claims after graduation or withdrawal, which FreedomWorks' Adam Brandon calls, quote, both ample time and a reasonable limit to deter legitimate claims from being filed years after the fact, end of quote. But on the other side of this argument is a Republican. His name is Mark Walker. He's from North Carolina. He also sits on the Education and Labor Committee. He told Blaze Media that getting rid of the DeVos rule would, quote, only open the door for fraudulent claims and could even lead to the closure of some of our educational institutions. There are others who say that the new standards make obtaining loan forgiveness too difficult for defrauded students. Under the Congressional Review Act, Congress can overturn regulations issued by federal agencies with a joint resolution passed by both chambers. While the resolution has passed the Democrat-controlled House of Representatives, it's not likely to fare that well in the Republican-controlled Senate. And the White House has vowed Monday to veto the resolution if it ever got to the president's desk. He said it would undermine the administration's efforts to protect students and taxpayers. Are you following any of this? It sounds to me like something that would be good and healthy and helpful, and everybody you know that you trust is against it. The old adage says, let the buyer beware. Buyers bear the responsibility for understanding the terms of their purchases. And the Democrats are feeling sorry for people who were not paying attention or who don't have the financial savvy to navigate the complex system of loans for college. They want to fix it. They want to give them redress in the next 3 years or so. But this is a product of a government trying to make all things easy for everybody, regardless of ability, finances, and accountability. I don't think government works like that. And it sounds like what I would consider the good guys are saying, no, let the buyer beware. You signed the contract, eat it. And unless I hear something new, I don't think I like that. Now, on the other side of it, if you borrow money to get an education, what are you doing? You are borrowing money for an intangible element. There's no real guaranteed return on that. And we hear on the radio, if you listen to the certain radio stations, people call in and they talk about their debt, and they talk about hundreds of thousands of dollars of college debt. I mean, to have $30,000 of college debt is nothing. These people talk $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 of college debt. Why would you go into debt to get a college education that may or may not guarantee you anything on the other side? How many people come out of a college environment with the debt, get married, and never use it? And now you marry somebody who also has college debt, and now you have two debts and you're paying this off. You hear that. If you listen to this particular radio program, you hear it all the time, every day, all the time. Everybody that calls in, they all got college debt. The old adage in Proverbs, be not a borrower, a borrower nor a lender be. God doesn't understand getting into debt for things that are worth less than the debt. You borrow for a home. You always borrow less for the house than it's worth, so that if something happens, you can sell the house and get out. What do you do with a college debt? I think as a Christian, we need to rethink whether our children go into debt for college. Now, mom and dad want to go into debt, and they've got equity to back it up. That's a different story. These kids are coming out with huge debts that they're passing on to their husbands or wives or whatever for something they may or may not ever use. And it sounds like our government is trying to make it harder. I hope that's not the case. But whatever the case may be, if your children are looking toward college, put the money away, open up accounts, do what you got to do. Send them to, what do they call the county usually runs some sort of a 2-year college program. I can't remember the name of it. All the basic courses you can get right there. And they can go to a college later if they're doing well and take the particulars, the specific things. But technical schools and other places that teach you a skill are far better for the vast majority of people in the country, and they don't cost that much. Not going to get much help from the government, unless I'm reading it wrong.